Season 40, War number 6, and we are up against GT40. This time my team will be Tigra, Valkyrie and Professor X. And this is gonna be a difficult war. GT40 has been on fire this season, and we can't expect them to die even once. I'm taking Path 5 in Section 1 to ramp up Professor X. Then I'm taking Path 7 in Section 2, as well as that Rintrah on the shared fight. Then I'm also gonna be taking the King Groot and Korg mini-bosses, as well as the Doctor Doom boss. I've got a couple pretty simple fights to ramp up Professor X, but I also do have a couple very interesting Valkyrie fights. Up first we have a Hulkling on the Ebb and Flow knockdown and right back at it nodes, and I'm taking this fight with Professor X. And the game plan here is the same as it was the previous war, and well, the same as basically any other Professor X fight that you see me take in Alliance War. I'm just gonna be getting to my special 3, ramping up my channeling charges, and then for the protection I just need to knock him down first and make sure he doesn't have his indestructible ready. After that it's just simple special 3 spam until he goes down. The main thing to watch for here is the power gain on Hulkling. He gains power every time he triggers one of his personal buffs from, or rather with, his shape-shift charges, and if he's not throwing specials, that can get out of hand pretty quickly. His special one also pushes you pretty far back, and he does like to spam that, so getting cornered is also something you really need to watch out for. If you do get cornered and Hulkling gets some hits on you, it will hurt quite a lot. He hits very hard. But now I have everything ramped up. I played around the indestructible, then I just used my falter there to land the knockdown with a heavy intercept. And now the fight is over. He's just gonna be dead from special 3 spam here, and there's nothing he can do about it. Alright, that is 1 persistent charge down, 2 more to go. Also, the reason why I'm ramping up Professor X here is because I am taking the Doom boss with him, and I do need all the damage I can get. Now next up we have a Killmonger on the Ebb and Flow knockdown and heavy hitter nodes, and once again I'm gonna be using this fight to ramp up Professor X further, and the game plan here is the same special 3 spam as for the previous fight. Now Killmonger can be a bit annoying to fight with his crit resistance as well as the reverberation damage, but you don't get the reverb damage on non-contact attacks, and Professor X's heavy attack is a non-contact hit, so you take no reverb damage from him as long as you only use heavies. His first medium does make contact, so throwing that will reflect some damage back to you, but that being said, the fight is already over. I'm at my special 3 with 100 channeling charges, the protection is down, so it's just gonna be a matter of time. A couple special 3s here and he will go down, and that is charge number 3. I am gonna get the last one in section 2. Then we have an Immortal Hulk on the power creep and second wind unblockable nodes, and I'm taking this fight with Valkyrie. Now this is a very simple fight with basically anyone. The reason why I'm using Valkyrie here because it's pretty fast to use her. I could have used Professor X here to ramp him up, I could have used Tigra to nuke this guy down, but Valkyrie just seemed like the safest option, because blocked hits don't also give him any gamma, which means that if I'm gonna be hitting into his block quite a lot, he's not gonna be able to trigger his immortality when he's about to drop, so I can just bypass that and not have to worry about the unblockable phase. I get my third pierce here, I cut my combo short and dash back and throw the special to make it hit into Immortal Hulk's block there for the increased damage. And now I just need to hit into his block while the Fury is still up. That's a nice chunk of damage, and that allows me to prevent him from gaining enough gamma to trigger the immortality. The fight went down under a minute, which I would say is pretty damn good considering Immortal Hulk has one of the highest health pools in the game. Next up we have an Attuma on the second wind unblockable and make a stand nodes, and I'm taking this fight with Professor X to get his last persistent charge. Now Attuma can be an annoying defender, but the main thing you need to not do against him is inflict any stun debuffs or infuriate debuffs. So I will not be parrying at all in this fight, because inflicting those two debuffs will trigger his shrug off, which gives him concussions then, and that is something you don't really wanna do. The more you lower his ability accuracy, the higher his ability accuracy goes, and then he can stack up those hydrations real fast with his specials. So the easiest way to get around that without having to use the necessary debuffs to get rid of the hydration, you just need to not inflict those two debuffs. Now if the fight takes too long, he will still be able to stack those hydrations up quite a bit, and eventually he will trigger his unstoppable and everything else. So you do want to get out of the fight pretty quickly if you don't run a proper counter. Now Professor X gets to his special 3 before Attuma gets out of hand, so this fight is over with this special 3 spam. I just had to make sure that the protection was down when I started using the special 3s, and he goes down without any issues. So if you're ever taking him, I do suggest that you use a proper counter to remove his hydrations, then just don't parry stun him and you're good. Next up we have a Rintrah on the aspect of evolution and rich get richer nodes, and I'm taking this fight with Valkyrie. And the game plan here is very simple. I'm only gonna be hitting it to Rintrah's block, and that means he will not be gaining any buffs, he will not trigger neutralize, he will not gain any mystical charges, and that just means he's a very weak defender, and I am constantly winning the rich get richer buff race. That gives me permanent passive power gain, which just allows me to spam my special 2s over and over again into his block, making this fight extremely easy. Normally, in matchups where you can only hit into the opponent's block are pretty slow, because you get only a tiny amount of power from hitting the opponent's block. But here, with the constant special 2s from rich get richer power gain, this fight goes down very fast. Now, I say very fast, but it does take over a minute, but keep in mind Rintrah has one of the highest health pools in the game, and this is a very stacked Rintrah. He's a 6-star rank 5 champion, and he had nearly 300,000 health, and Valkyrie just destroyed him. So yeah, I would say Valkyrie is by far the best option for that matchup. And then we have a King Groot on the Safeguard mini-boss node, and I'm taking this fight with Tigra. And we've all seen this fight before, it's very simple. I'm just gonna be baiting some heavy attacks, punishing them with my heavy to build up ruptures, gain more power, and to get rid of his fury buffs at the start. Now I have neutralize up, he doesn't have his furies, and no regen, so he's not gonna be unblockable. I'm gonna be baiting his special ones, punishing them with my heavy attack, and then dropping big special 2s, which will take him down pretty quickly. Even with a safeguard node here, he's just melting. 2 special 2s is all it takes, and yeah, one of the easiest fights for Tigra, provided you can actually punish the special 1 properly. It does take some practice, but once you have it down, you will never struggle with this guy ever again. Next up we have a Korg on the Stunning Reflection and Polka Dot Power mini-boss node, and I'm taking this guy with Valkyrie. Now, I was very excited to take this guy, and I was also nervous about it, since, well, I haven't taken Korg with Valkyrie in Alliance War before. At least I don't remember if I have. Now, the game plan here is to just play Korg like normal. I can't bypass any of the nodes, I can't really parry stun him either, even if I have a bulwark up, because of the Stunning Reflection making him stun immune. And I also have no way around the rock thorns, so to avoid the damage from those, I'm only gonna be hitting him with light attacks while the rock stacks are up. And that is easier said than done. I'm gonna be doing light intercepting, backdraft intercepting, punishing his heavy attack and specials with my light attack to avoid the damage. And that being said, I don't suggest this matchup to just anyone. The reason why I'm taking this is because I am extremely comfortable with the matchup. I've taken the guy so many times in BGs that I can safely say that I would not die here unless I made some horrible mistakes repeatedly. Now, so far the fight has gone perfectly. The only damage I took was at the very beginning, when I baited the first heavy attack to get my initial opening. After that, everything has gone fine. I haven't taken a single blocked hit, no damage from the rock thorns, and everything is going fine. I still have all 3 hits of the invulnerability boost up. It's not looking like I'm gonna need them anyways, as long as the fight keeps going as well as it has. And it's looking like a clean solo. But, well, I couldn't punish the special one because the rock stacks came back up. I didn't want to take the rock thorns damage here, so I tried to get my opening with a shallow evade. I dashed back too late. I was too far away because of that, so my light attack didn't connect. I did it a second time in a row there, immediately afterwards, and yeah, I did get comboed there twice. Now, even without the boost, I would not have died. Korg doesn't hit that hard, and since I'm fully boosted, Valkyrie's health pool is pretty huge as well. So I would have been fine, but I am still a little bit sad about that. The fight was going so well, and then I just had to mess it up at the very end. I still got the solo, and it was a great fight, but I really would have wanted that perfect fight. Next up we have the final fight of this war, a Doctor Doom boss that I'm gonna be taking with Professor X. The game plan is the good old special 3 spam with mutant power back boosts, and the fight itself should be pretty simple. My biggest concern is not getting enough power with the special 3s, because Doom is very tanky, but since this is only a rank 4 Doctor Doom and not a rank 5, I figured that that would not be an issue. Now I'm gonna be building up my channeling charges by utilizing Professor X's Falter passive. I'm just gonna be waiting for it to come back, then I just charge my heavy attack, and Doom can come in, hit me all he wants, he's gonna miss, and that allows me to build up the channeling charges pretty quickly. Also, whenever Doom gets to a special 1, I'm just gonna be baiting it out, waiting out the aura so that I have no risk of getting shocked, because I do not want to get Doom slapped here. The boss node has the Opportunist node that increases the defender's attack by 50% for each buff they have, and Dr. Doom already hits hard as he is. He does not need the attack increase, but since he does have it, I just don't want any chance of him even touching me in this fight. On another note, I am at 100 channeling charges now, so all I need to do is just get to my special 3, and the fight should be over. I just charge at my heavy to get an extra prowess from using the special, I drop the special 3, and I should be able to just cycle these until he dies. Or so I thought. But looking at his health bar here, it's barely moving. I did not get enough power to be able to cycle my special 3s. And my special 2s, well, at least I can cycle them. Because if I couldn't, this fight could have gone very badly. I do drop the mind control here. Doom is not dead, but I have 12 prowesses, so I just made a heavy, go in and drop the special. Luckily it finishes him off. And next time I'm either putting on max recoil to make sure the special 3s do enough damage, or I'm gonna be using Tigra with Mr. Fantastic's Petrified debuff. As for the results, unfortunately we did end up losing. We tied on deaths 1-1, but we did lose on time. So GT40 is on pace to being champions once again.